stirs the cauldron.
And here we are again, the Witch and the Wise Man. I'm D.E. Riley the Wise Man, and this beautiful lady next to me is...
Tonya Steinborn, the witch.
Yes, Tonya. How are you, dear?
I'm great.
Good.
How are you?
You look amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Very.
I'm wearing a nice, fuzzy, warm
Yeah,
sweater because it's
my
cold.
hair looks like it's as fuzzy as your sweater is right now. So
Stop.
it is. It's just like going all bang. It's this cold, damp, shitty weather we have outside right now.
It's making y'all frizzy.
Yeah.
Your locks all frizzy.
All right. Tonight's episode. What do we got for tonight? What do you want to talk about?
Well, like you said just a moment ago, this might end in a fight. So it's sacred masculine and the wild feminine, healing the ancient divide. Ba ba ba. Yep.
Okay, I'm not going to throw the first blow. I'm going to let you do it.
You always do. You always make me go first.
I'm being a gentleman.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm keeping an eye on it so I can duck a punch if need be.
So we're going to talk about polarity, trauma, power, sexuality, and how we, the witch and the wise man, reclaim balance beyond the wounded gender roles. I think this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, so, ouch. I keep yanking on my headphones. I'm not nervous or anything.
No, like why are you fidgeting?
Yeah. Because this can get very dangerous. I'm in the hot seat here because not only can I piss off a lot of women, but I can piss off a lot of guys too. Just from where I'm sitting, It's
okay.
But there is, and there always has been this caveman type role that the men have played throughout history, where we are the boss, we're the hunters, we are the chiefs, we are, the wise men, and that is our place and that is our role. You, on the other hand, are a female. You're a childbearer, you're a gatherer, you're a homemaker, and you don't get to come into my world. And I'm not saying this. This isn't me saying this. This is playing out the scenario. You don't get to come into my world, and because my world it's the world of the sacred masculine male. You can't touch it, And even today, after all of these millions of years, and after all these arguments and these movements and these protests, and yes, we given you women's rights. We've allowed you to do that. We've let you guys start voting. We let you drive cars. We let you get it. There's
I was just gonna say
terminology that is coming across here because I'm playing the role of this masculine, overly masculine male. That we still can't get beyond this, even in today's society. And I know this all too well because I know guys just like this, just exactly like this. Go make me a sandwich, bitch. That's like, oh, for God's sakes, please. We have got to get away from this if we're going to continue as a civilization. We've got to put this to rest. But that is bred into us from, it's in our DNA, I think. There's no other way to put it,
Well, I don't know that it is, or is it like, because a lot of the ancient cultures, they were actually matriarchal, right? So I feel like there was definitely more respect for women at a certain period in our history than there is now. And I personally feel that came in with a lot of the Abrahamic religions, as far as the the man is the head of the household and the woman just to be subservient. I mean, we weren't even we were considered property until not very long ago.
I mean, you still are in some parts of the world.
Yeah,
You,
100%. You're right.
you
Yeah,
absolutely are.
totally.
You
Yeah,
are. You're not allowed to be educated. You're not allowed to do any. You're not even allowed to show your face.
yeah,
In public. So,
yeah,
and that is such a archaic. I'm sorry if I'm pissing people off over this. I don't care. It's stupid.
yeah,
It's just ridiculous in this day and age to be going backwards,
yeah,
because that's exactly what they're doing. They're going backwards. They're not making progress at all. They're digressing, and it's just a ridiculous way to think. I am absolutely attracted to an independent, strong female. Doesn't mean I don't know my part as a male. Doesn't mean I'm not going to be a gentleman. It doesn't mean I'm not going to show her respect and kindness, because I am. But I am more attracted to the independent, strong female than I am the
shrinking
girly
daisy.
girl,
Yeah,
don't get me dirty thing. I just,
yeah,
that's just,
yeah.
sorry. But
Sorry, not sorry.
yeah, but it's I don't know. I don't know if, how did it get there? How did we get to,
Well, that's like what I was saying earlier. Is I honestly feel it came in with the Abrahamic religions, as far as you know, in all the core three religions, women are definitely in the back seat. They're definitely, um, not treated with kindness in a lot of cases. They're considered less than. And I have personal experience in this. I was raised in a very fundamental Christian cult,
Mhm.
and women were we were not equals at all.
right?
And to the point that, like, if a man was in the house and we had to pray over our lunch, we had to put something over our head, and if it meant a napkin or a dishcloth, we had to put something over our head to show our submission to the man in the house, because that was us saying we're less than, we're subservient, you are over us. So I mean, I've had a problem with this since I was old enough to be aware of it, which was probably like 4.
Mhm.
So I think it really started with that, because if you do look at like the ancient cultures and you look at a lot of tribal societies, women have a very, very important role. They, a lot of times made a lot of the decisions for the welfare of the tribe,
Mhm.
of the clan. And so I do feel that when we moved away from that into these, um, you know, patriarchal Abrahamic religions, that's kind of where we lost things,
Yeah.
because all of them definitely downplayed the feminine role. And to me, that's just, I mean, I look at women as we're the only force strong enough to bring spirit into matter. We literally create humans in our bodies. Like, how can we be less than?
Yeah. Oh,
How?
that's in my opinion a goddess. Right there. That is. It was funny. I looked up. Okay, I looked up um, the difference, the definitions of sacred masculine and the wild feminine, and it's interesting
Yeah.
what popped up. And I'm going to read it to you.
Yeah.
It says the sacred masculine learned to survive by controlling chaos. In the face of uncertainty, grief, and fear of annihilation, he hardened. He became rigid, externalized, um, externalized worth through dominance, productivity, and conquest. He forgot how to listen, not just to others, but to the subtle voice within. His trauma taught him that feelings are dangerous, and vulnerability is fatal. Now, on the other hand, the wild feminine learned to survive by fragmenting herself. When her intuition, sexuality, and sovereignty were punished, she learned to shapeshift. She became pleasing, invisible, or explosive when ignored too long. Her trauma taught her that power must be hidden and that desire invites danger, and being fully seen costs too much.
Yeah, wow.
That was pretty deep.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
But you
And
see that even today, even with me. Now, I'm guilty of this, even to me, is when I am faced with troubles, uncertainties, problems, I don't wear my emotions on my sleeve. I bottle them. I keep them inside. I don't show that weakness. And that's how guys look at that as a weakness.
yeah.
You know, emotions is showing your weakness, and you don't want to do that. You're strong. You know, you have to survive, and that I think there's a lot of guys that are just starting to get around that and out of that,
Yeah.
and learning to,
Yeah.
you know, learning to be honest with themselves and you know, with their family and with their wives and girlfriends and everything.
Well, and I think, but where did that messaging come from? You know, like that emotions are weakness. Well, women are emotional.
Mhm.
We're like water. We're very fluid in our emotions. And so then by saying if men show emotion, they're weak equals emotions are weak equals women are weak. You know, like there's
Right.
definitely a connection there. And um, yeah, like I personally feel that's where the basis of things have went. And as far as the divide, that's like when we're talking about that divide, I feel the divide happened when the Abrahamic religions came into play. And you know, a lot of us are still operating on those old operating systems.
How do we get rid of them? How do we shut that shell? I mean,
I think we have to recognize that within us, every single one of us, there's masculine and feminine energies.
right, right,
We all have, like, if you look at things like, because I do energy work, I'm a healer, so you look at, you know, one side of the body's masculine, the other's feminine, giving, receiving. It's all like if you cut our body in half, you know, most of our organs are double. We have two lungs, we have two kidneys, you know, a lot of we have two eyes. You know, like everything is is one, but it's
right.
almost a double of it, right? So we have masculine energies and feminine energies within us. So if we're rejecting masculine energy or feminine energy, we're rejecting parts of ourself. And so I feel a big part of where we can start to heal this divide is to recognize that we have to love and accept both those energies within ourselves.
Right.
Like that we have masculine energy and feminine energy with every single one of us do. So it's all part of this separation. You know, like, oh, you're a man, you're different. You're a woman, you're different. So, like, you know, but we have that within ourselves.
But
I know.
you're gonna get, I don't know, 75, 80% of the masculine population going, nah, nah, I don't have any female nothing in me. I am all man, blah, blah, blah. I can't stand guys like that.
It's just you know it's just science.
Yeah,
It's
well,
just you know
no, but
it's just
it
chemistry.
science has nothing to do with masculinity. Nothing.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna
just
go kill
energy.
something and I'm gonna drag it in here and you're gonna cook it.
Yeah,
that, that's
yeah,
how, you know, so many guys see even today the roles that are out there. We can look at it scientifically. Sure. Absolutely. And I absolutely agree with you 100%. Um, I think that's why you and I get along so well, because we both agree pretty much across the board on many things. I'm
Yeah,
playing the devil's advocate, by the
of
way.
course. Yeah.
And because you have to, in order to carry on this conversation, that has to come into play. Um, but in the course of my lifetime, I've lived all over the United States. I spent a good portion of my life living on Marine Corps bases, surrounded by Marines, probably the most masculine people in the world. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, there and I lived with rednecks in Texas, and I lived with hillbillies in the mountains, and there was that common bond more often than not of that toxic masculinity, if you want to call it that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, that I'm the boss, I'm the man of the house. This is how it's going to be in my house. This is my way or the highway.
Yeah.
You got no other choice. And I even remember, don't get me wrong, I love my parents to death. They were the greatest parents in the world. But my father was extremely that way. And, I mean, he had told my mother before to just, pack your sea bags and get your shit out of my house, when they got into fights. And it's like, I hope we're progressing past that, but there's so many times I see that it's not happening. How do we,
Well,
again, how do we shuck this shell? It's ridiculous.
well, and I think too, like there's what's happened now is yes, women have, we can vote and we have the same rights as men. We are now in the workforce. We are earning our own paychecks. We're paying our own bills. We're taking care of ourselves. So even those traditional roles are really becoming obsolete, which has also challenged. I feel like men are really kind of having an identity crisis right now
Mm-hmm.
because we actually don't need to get married. We don't need to have that type of arrangement anymore to take care of us because we take care of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've identified yourself as in these really typical masculine roles, as far as like I go and get the bacon and I come home and put my feet up and you cook the bacon and clean up after the bacon, then like now that we buy our bacon and we cook our bacon, it's kind of like the guy's like, well, what is my role now? Like, what am I supposed to do? And so the gender roles are really getting challenged as far as those typical masculine and feminine, energies go, because it's not the same, but yet there's still certain aspects, like certain populations that still are stuck in that.
But then you have, and to quote you, in the past episode, you're looking for that guy to protect you, to be
Yeah.
that strong, masculine
Yeah.
male,
Yeah.
So there it is
Yeah.
again, even you are in a way, in a very small way, reinforcing that masculine
Well,
concept.
well, because I do feel that those energies have certain imprints, if you want to say, or certain things that we're naturally good at, right? Or that we're naturally have predispositions for. Like, so just because I can go and earn a paycheck and I pay my own bills doesn't mean I don't want to come home to a man who can be there to hold space for me, who can be there to be that, that strength, that grounding energy, that person who's, if somebody's knocking at the door and I don't know who they are, that's going to be my protector.
Hmm.
Like, there's nothing, to me, there's nothing wrong with that. Just the same as me as a feminine energy, I offer nurturing, I offer gentleness, I offer tenderness. So just because I can go and have a career and go and pay my bills doesn't negate my need for security,
Hmm. Hmm.
doesn't negate my need for stability. or strength or protection,
Right.
because the reality is, if there's a 250-pound man at my door banging it down, and what the hell am I going to do?
Mhm.
Right? Like, what am I going to do to that?
Right.
Like, you can think you can fight somebody off, but you can't. I've tried, trust me. So, I think that we can still have those things that we are, like, feminine energy really excels at, masculine energy really excels at, even with a society now that's shifting as far as like the traditional roles,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? Like, yeah, that's kind of how I look at it. And I do feel too that there's like, as a woman who's had to be the breadwinner and has had to play the role of the masculine in life with raising my kids, women can get also stuck in this hyper masculine energy because we have to do everything.
Hmm.
And then we struggle to embrace that femininity.
Yeah.
That's been something I've had to deal with in my life.
Yeah. And I think, and this is again, I'm just throwing shit out there. Um, I don't think there's as big of a struggle with women retaining their femininity as there is with men retaining their masculinity. Um, we have this inbred, inbred, is that the right word? Fear, um, of not being a protector, of not being masculine enough. If there's a 250-pound guy beating on my door, guess what? I couldn't take a 250-pound guy. I give it a go, but I couldn't take him.
That's true.
That's
Yeah.
that's double my weight.
Yeah.
So there's other avenues I can go down, but it's I'm just saying that it's one of those things that if it came down to that, and a guy can only be a protector so much, and then it's even out of his hands. Um,
Yeah.
and in a case like that, I would be in the same boat you would. I'd be looking around for something to smack this clown with, because there ain't no stopping him with with these guns. But that still though, the masculine side, of guys, if he's a man at all, is going to jump in there regardless. He's going to protect you regardless. He's going to stand up for you regardless. Um, it may not, always come out smelling like roses on the other side when it's all said and done, but he's going to give it a go. He's going to try
Yeah.
his hardest,
Yeah.
um, to protect you. At least he should. Okay. At least he should. I mean, put it that way, because I do know guys that they're gone. They're fuck it. They're not. They're not going out there, and
Yeah.
they're the whole masculinity thing is, it comes down to where is the line drawn of being masculine and just being bastard, and being way off the mark, being possessive, and you don't, you think you own a person, and it doesn't work like that. Not in my world. So I have a hard time conceptualizing that, but I have seen that on a number of occasions, and I couldn't tell you how many times I've seen that. It's happened so much. You don't talk. I'm talking. You don't talk. It's like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about, man? Come on. That's a human being. Why are you treating her like an animal? I don't get that. I don't understand that at all. Um, but it is the truth, and it does happen. And it's we've got to get our mindset away from that. We have to. I don't know what else to, how else to put it. And if there's guys listening, you don't like what I say, I don't give a shit. I really don't. This is my opinion. My show. Get your own podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But the thing is the wild feminine. Now let's get off of guys. Let's get off of guys completely. Let's talk about the wild feminine. Why is that a concept? Why is that the why wild feminine thing? Where's the definition?
Well,
Give me a definition.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually do a lot of work with the divine feminine, and I had a workshop, actually a retreat, and part of the retreat, this was a couple years ago, was I called it rewilding, because women have been so conditioned since the Abrahamic religions and all of that, of being suppressed. That these parts of us, this wild nature that we have, this emotional, this sexual energy that we carry, is very threatening, is very, and therefore has been suppressed. And so we've become very conditioned to be demure, to be quiet, to not speak, to fit these traditional roles of taking care of the man's needs and the children's needs, and then putting ourselves at the very, very back of the line, like serving, subservient. And there's a huge movement of women saying, no, we need to be sexual beings. We need to be wild women in the way that, like, if we want to dance out in a full moon naked and howl at the friggin' moon, if that's what we're called to do, that we need to go do that, because that's part of our nature. Mm-hmm. We're not meant to be suppressed. We are creation. We create life. And when that creation is stifled, that's where we get ill, we get dysfunction in our body. We shut down sexually, we shut down emotionally. And so those aspects of the wild woman, it's so important to a woman to embrace that. And we're, especially in Western society. Western society has really praised the very young woman. The young woman, the 25 years old, everything's perfect, and it's the young woman and her energy, and they completely have dismissed any value to a woman as she ages. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. She's lost all sex appeal, apparently. And so women, as they age, actually become more potent and more powerful.
Right.
Because that's the where I'm at right now, is that I've put so much energy into raising children. Now I'm at the point of putting that energy back into myself. And that's where the real power lies with women. But yet we're constantly told that we don't have value because we're not 25 years old anymore. Mm-hmm. We're not able to have children anymore, so we don't have value. So I think that rewilding is really speaking to, especially women as they mature and as they age, is to reclaim that aspect of ourselves. Because once we shut down creativity, once we shut down creation and those wild aspects of ourselves, as far as our sexuality, like our sensuality, the power that holds, and mm-hmm. the creative energy of that, we've lost a huge aspect of who we are.
And correct me if I am wrong, but in ancient times, you mentioned a matriarchal society. It was the women that had gone through the menopause who who no longer were considered childbearers that were considered the wise ones. They were,
Yeah.
they were the ones that you went to for answers. They were the ones you went to solve the problems. They were the ones that could give you advice on, not only raising your children and taking care of your family, but how to get along in the world and how to do this. They had all the knowledge. They kept it all. Um, and we've since got out of that. And like you said, it's you get past a certain age, and all of a sudden, guys, you're just not, you're not a woman anymore. You've gone through menopause. You can't bear children. And it's all your appeal is gone. Just stupid. That's when it starts. That's when the sex appeal really starts, because now that woman can be a woman, 100%
Yeah.
her own woman,
Yeah.
without, she's no longer taking care of the kids. She's, no longer in demand as a wife and a mother. She is now more in control of herself than she's ever been in her whole life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is, to me, that's amazing. It really is.
Yeah.
But but that's again society and the way that we have built this
Place value.
fantasy world, of what we value and what we seek. And a lot of that, I'm sure, has to do with Wall Street and the advertising world, throwing all these young, good looking models our way and going, this is what you need to look like. This, you wear these jeans. This is what you're going to look like. You wear this perfume. This is what you're going to look like. You wear this, what you're going to look like. You get this, what you're going to look like. And it's all lies, every bit of it is. But you're now, every so often now, you see these beautiful older women coming to the forefront on these commercials going, you don't got to be like that. That's
Yeah.
that's not the way it goes. And, live your life because you're in control now. And that is got my respect completely, at that
Yeah.
point. But it's just the way society has just beat that into our everyday life they've succeeded. They've changed the way we see things and the way we know about things.
Yeah. No, and I think like as far as like the gender roles and masculine energy and feminine energy, like it has changed because it's been patriarchal and it's been moved away from the matriarchal societies. Um, yeah, it's different. I think, at the end of the day, if I was in a role to send my sons to war, sons I created in my body, I would have a different attachment to, you know, sending my boys off to fight a war if I didn't think it was utterly necessary, right? And I don't know. I think there's definitely something different about women making those kind of decisions as opposed to men. I really do. We have a different attachment to life.
Right. Right. Well, that's you. I mean, that is the one thing that is solely 100% yours. I don't care what you want to call yourself. I don't care. But that is 100% female. And yeah, I get it. I get it. I don't know how you could do it. I don't. That's man. I couldn't do it. I couldn't be a woman. It's no way. you guys, you guys are way outclassed me for sure. It's
But I mean, if you look at even messaging from our medical establishment, I mean, it used to be women were more in the healer roles, like we were the medicine women, right? So we had more. We just do naturally have more connection with nature. We do, like, because with our cycles and stuff like that, we're just more connected to the earth and the moon
right.
and all the cycles of that, because we have our own cycles and we change from maiden to mother to crone. And we experience, a deeper connection to nature, and that definitely affects how we move in the world for sure. But I think when you look at how we used to be, the healers and the medicine women more, you look at the Western medical establishment and women's, a lot of the medications aren't even tested on women. Like, the whole medical establishment's really based on masculine, and based on the fact that, like, women are considered hysterical. We are considered that all of our problems are because of our hormones, or because we're women. I mean, that's why they used to give women lobotomies, because they wouldn't listen to their husbands. They used to literally give us lobotomies because we weren't obedient. Hysterectomies, like, hysterical. Think about that.
Yeah.
Oh, I went and got a hysterectomy. Why it's called that is because there was a belief in the medical establishment, probably still is to a certain degree, that the women's hormones and organs, our womb, makes us crazy. So if you remove the womb and you give them a hysterectomy, they're going to be more stable. They're not going to be hysterical. So, like, how do you, when our own medical establishment is based on these things, how do you even, like, what do you do with that? Yeah, I know, scratch your head. It's crazy. Yeah.
That's insane. It's
It
just
is.
lunacy. And honestly, you like you said, the women used to be the healers. They used to collect the ear, and this is, again, here we go back into witchcraft again.
Yeah.
That was the witches that although they weren't always known as that knew what herbs to use, what liniments to use, what tinctures to make to cure all the ills, to take care of everybody, and then
Yeah.
boom, here comes, the Inquisition and the Catholic Church, and all of a sudden, everything is gone to
All the
shit.
burning,
And all, yeah, I mean,
the hanging.
yeah, and then people are now getting sick, and they can't understand why, so now they're going to blame that on women too. You guys have just been taking shit for years, and it's ridiculous. It really is, because I'm still trying to wrap my head around this the hysterectomy thing. Oh, and
Yeah.
people believe
Yeah.
that shit. They believe that shit. That's
Yeah.
what I don't get. I just because a
Yeah. So,
doctor
like, I mean,
says, just
yeah.
because a doctor says, and they go, right along with it, and it, almost destroy, and
Yeah, so I mean,
it's
it's hard
exhausting.
because, yeah, I mean, we've moved away from being a more nature-based matriarchal society that lived more in harmony with nature to, a very separate, separation, polarity, all that, because it's like, yeah, what do you do with that? Like, what do you do when our own medical system has, and I see women all the time in my practice. Most of my practice is women, my healing practice, my naturopathic
Mhm.
practice, and that we suffer. They suffer so much because we're not taken seriously. We're any type of physical ailment, it's like, oh, you're hormonal, or oh, you're just in menopause, or oh, you're just in perimenopause, or you're just in puberty. And so they just dismiss us a lot. So it's when our own medical and healing establishment is treating us like that, like, it's hard to move past and heal these gender roles when we're still actively being dismissed and being treated as hysterical because of
Right.
our hormones in our womb. So it's, yeah, it's definitely a time for us to reclaim our bodies and
Right.
reclaim our healing and
Yeah.
our path. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Because and I've seen it firsthand about how women get just played off by the medical profession. Over and over.
Yeah.
My ex-wife, we've been divorced for a number of years now. She lives down in Texas. She started having problems, female problems, and it was really bothering her. She goes to the doctor, and she had had children. She had had her tubes tied, and so the doctor gives her some medicine and sends her home. And she, every day goes by, she's getting more and more in pain. It went from uncomfortable to being in pain now. Take her
Yeah.
back to the same doctor. Same doctor looks at her again. He says, "Look, I don't know what's going on with you. Apparently, you may be pregnant." And she goes, "The fuck are you talking about? Pregnant?" She goes, "I'm not pregnant." And he goes, "Well, it's the only thing I can tell it would be causing you pain like that is you probably have a tubal pregnancy." She goes, "You're crazy," and literally she got up at that point, walked out of his office. I'm following her. I'm about 10, 15 feet behind her because she's walking so fast. And she has been blown off by this doctor. She has been blown off by two other doctors prior to this that said, "There's nothing wrong with you. We can't find anything wrong with you. Go home. Take this, go home." She is storming out to the car and collapses right in the parking lot, face down. I pick her up and carry her back in, and I kick the door open to the doctor's office, and there's all these people sitting in there. And I said, "Get the doctor now." She is like almost unconscious. She's just so much in pain. The doctor came out there, and I handed her to him. I said, "Fix her now, fix her." "Well, there's nothing. Don't tell me there's nothing wrong with her. She just collapsed in the parking lot. Fix her." She turned out, and how they did not see this, I have no idea, but her whole insides were eaten up with cysts, just covered with them. And yeah, she had to go in and have a hysterectomy to save her life, because she was so eaten up with this stuff. 3 different doctors, all of them said, "There's nothing wrong with you, go home." How do you do that? How do you just slip them off? Just here, take these for pain, go home. It's crazy. It's crazy. So yes, I've seen that firsthand, not only with her, but with others that they have to go to 3, 4, 5 different doctors before they finally get one that goes, "Okay, well, we're going to look into this and see what we can find." I don't know if it's just the healthcare system now, or just the inadequacy of doctors, or just that they're sloughing off the female condition.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, but I mean it's part of the bigger problem. It's part of
Excuse me.
the suppression, the not understanding women, and not understanding the nature of women and our connection with everything. And it's frustrating. It really is.
Well, thank God we have people like you, that take care of, the needs of the female community properly. And I would say properly. If you
I'm
need,
trying. I sure work at it.
yeah, once again, there's our Gmail address at the bottom if you need to contact Tonya about anything. Don't call me because I'll give you the wrong advice on that. But, yeah, it's it's crazy. And the thing I like, and I've seen your work, and I've talked to you about it on a number of occasions, is you carry that philosophy that so many Eastern doctors carry. You treat the whole, not the condition. So that to me impressed the shit out of me when you were talking about that, how you treat the whole person, not just the cut on the finger, but you and that's something that we're getting way off topic here, but that's something that, modern medicine, Western medicine doesn't do. They compartmentalize everything. It's
Yeah.
you got to go to so many different doctors for bullshit. It's crazy. But again,
But I think I mean it's off topic, but it's not because it is a product of the entire outlook on on women and women's roles and our phases in life and not understanding that and dismissing that and like this we are different, and so it's about honoring and respecting that instead of trying to fit us into the same medical model or the same model as masculine energy, because we are different. And I just find that you know I think the problem has become, even for women, we've tried to because we're put in this model, is that we have become a little bit too masculine in some cases. We do, because we have to do so much, and we're in careers, we're boss babes and all that, and then we lose part of ourselves. We lose part of that femininity. And like, I can't speak for men, but I'm speaking for women, like the challenges like we face, right?
right,
So I think at the end of the day, it's about really honoring the masculine energy, honoring the feminine energy as different.
right,
We're not the same. We're beautiful in our own ways, and bringing out the feminine aspects and realizing they're not weak.
right.
There's strength in those feminine qualities, and the same with men. Like, there's strength in those qualities that men bring to the table when they're healthy and healed, the same as when women bring to the table as healthy and healed. But we're just so fractured. We're just so fractured within ourselves and within our, like with the energies of the opposing as far as masculine or feminine.
And
Right? Like,
honestly, I think, as far as the woman taking on the more masculine roles at times, I think men have kind of pushed you in that direction. You know,
yeah.
they really have. They have got this misconception about the feminist movement. Oh, you want to be a guy? Okay, fine, go be a guy. See how long you last. You go do that. No, I ain't doing it for you. You do it yourself. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, in a way, we're kind of responsible for that too. We we're getting our meals fed to us here, and that eating a lot of crow at times over all of this stuff, because, and I'll be the first to admit it, men do not take the time to even try to understand women, and I don't think we can even understand women. I just don't think that's possible.
Well, I mean, women don't even understand women in a lot of cases. Like, we don't even understand women. We don't even understand ourselves because we've lost a lot of those teachings.
Right.
Our grandmothers, our generationally grandmothers would have taught us these things, but because that's all been wiped out, how do we, it used to be when a young woman would get her cycle, she would be celebrated because she's moved into being a woman now, instead of that was celebrated. It was honored. The women would teach her the ways, and the same as having a baby. Like, women would gather and they would celebrate that, and they would support the woman. Everything's so sterile and so, you know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
not, we've lost a lot of those teachings. And so I think for women to embrace that, we've really embraced ourselves. We have to start bringing those practices back and bringing that knowledge back, because we cannot heal ourselves and we can't help men heal themselves if we don't do the
Right.
work.
And the thing is, it's like that comedian Bill Engvall. He once said, after 25 years of marriage, I know no more today than I did when I was 10 years old about women. We will never be able to figure you out, and you will never be able to fully figure us out. And that, in and of itself, is the greatest thing in the world, because
Yeah.
there's that mystery there. There will
Yeah.
always be that mystery. I don't want to know everything about a woman. I don't care to. I would rather have this, find out those little puzzles going through life, with this person, because then you're always discovering something new. It doesn't get boring. You always have a little bit of adventure going on. And, I think that's a great thing.
Yeah.
Again,
Like maybe it's more about just not trying to understand each other and just really like, yeah, just accepting the mystery of it
just
and being
exactly.
excited about that instead of trying to like make you fit into a certain box or certain role that we think you should be in. And like I love a healed masculine energy. Like it's so attractive, and same with a woman. Like a woman who's healed herself and is in that feminine energy is so attractive. And it's
Right.
like, you know, we're not we're different in a lot of ways, but at the end of the day, we all seek the same things. We all seek love. We all seek compassion. We all seek, we're different, but we're the same.
So now maybe the sacred masculinity and the wild femininity aren't all that different. Maybe they're a little alike, maybe more than we know. Who knows? I don't know. It's a mystery.
Well, it's all energy, right? Like everything is masculine, feminine, positive, negative,
Right.
yin, yang. Without either of those functioning, we don't have a whole, right? Like you can't have
Very
have
well
the
said.
yin without the yang. You
Yeah.
can't have, so it's about, for me, it's about really loving and honoring the beauty of the masculine energy and the beauty of the feminine energy, and realizing that we need to meld and to be together and to embrace those qualities to be whole.
Hmm.
That's how I look at it.
You're an amazing woman, Tanya. You really are.
You're an amazing man.
Oh, I don't know so much about that. I got references that say I'm not.
Oh, stop.
But
No.
anyway, it is just about time. Again, for the ending of a closing of another chapter in our little book of podcasts. Is there any
That's left you with more questions than answers. That
again?
seems
How
to
do
be
we
a,
do that? How do we do that? We haven't answered anything. Eddie, I don't think we've yet to answer anything. But maybe now we will open up discussion between some people, and
yeah, that's what
you
it's
know
about. Yeah.
we really want to make you question things. Look at yourself, inside yourself, and question yourself. And that's I guess the whole idea of this. In this little experiment we're doing called life, and question everything. You might find an answer. If you find an answer, let us know what it is, because apparently
I was
we're
just
still
gonna say,
looking. And you can let us know right
I mean,
there is our
nobody's
Gmail.
nobody said like, "Hey, we got all the answers. We're figuring
Oh
shit out
no,
too."
no, we're just and the funny thing was when we first came up with this idea to do a podcast, that was kind of the whole thing. There was, let's open up some dialogue. We have
Right.
two different people in two different countries, one male, one female. Let's open up some dialogue between
Dialogue.
the
Yeah.
two and see if maybe we can start bringing people a little bit closer together and maybe solve
Yeah.
some of their problems, and you know make them ask some questions, and
Yeah.
bring a little mystery back into the world. It's a good thing, I
Love it.
think.
I think so too.
All right. We're going to let y'all go. Tanya, thank you again. I love you, dear, and we will talk
Love you.
together again real soon. Good night, guys.
Her laughter is shadow, his wisdom is flame. Two sides of a coin, never quite the same.